Hey everyone, welcome back to Dark Creatures, where we uncover the most chilling, unexplained mysteries. Today, we're diving into a case that will send shivers down your spine. She said she was innocent, but there's a voice in the darkness, telling a different story. In 2008, America held its breath as the trial of Casey Anthony unfolded. A mother accused of taking the life of her own 2-year-old daughter. A case that gripped the nation, dividing opinions, fueling outrage. And then, against all odds, she walked free. But what if I told you there was another story, one even darker, one that never made the headlines? Lana Mitchell, a mother once accused of an unthinkable crime. She stood before a jury, faced the world's judgment, and just like Casey, was declared innocent. She thought it was over. She thought she could move on. But then, the whispers started. Lana Mitchell was once the most hated woman in America. Her trial was public, relentless, a spectacle of outrage and speculation. The prosecution painted her as a monster. The media tore her apart. The world watched, waiting for justice. But justice never came. Despite the accusations, despite the horror of what she was accused of, there was no solid evidence, no undeniable proof. The jury deliberated, and in the end, they let her walk free. Innocent in the eyes of the law, but never in the eyes of the public. She disappeared after that, changed her name, moved to a quiet town where no one knew her, where she could blend into the background, a ghost of a woman trying to outrun her past. For years, she stayed silent. No interviews, no statements, no attempts to reclaim her life. But silence can only last so long. One day, Lana reappeared on TikTok. The world had moved on, but she hadn't. And now, she wanted to tell her side of the story, the truth as she claimed it. Her first video was simple. She sat in front of the camera, her face worn, her voice steady. "I know what you think of me," she said, "but you don't know the whole story." The video went viral overnight. Millions of views, thousands of comments. Some believed her, some didn't, but everyone watched. And then, the strange things started happening. The night after her first TikTok went viral, Lana couldn't sleep. Her phone buzzed endlessly, notifications, comments, direct messages. Some were sympathetic, others were cruel. And then, at 3:12 a.m., a message appeared. "Mommy, I'm cold." Lana's breath caught in her throat. The sender was unknown. The profile picture was blank. She stared at the screen, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Prank, she told herself. Just another sick joke from the internet. She locked her phone and placed it face down. But then, a second message. "Why did you leave me in the dark?" Lana's chest tightened. She shut off her phone completely. The next morning, she woke up to something worse. Her TikTok account was active, but not from her. A new video had been uploaded overnight. Her hands trembled as she clicked play. It was footage of her daughter. A grainy home video, her little girl, in a pink dress, spinning in circles, laughing. The problem was, Lana had never uploaded this video. Her fingers fumbled as she checked her phone gallery, her cloud storage. There was no trace of this file. The comment section was already flooded. "This is..." Lana deleted the video immediately, but the damage was done. People had seen it. People were talking. And then, she noticed something even more chilling. The final frame of the video, right before it ended, showed her daughter standing still, staring at the camera. But behind her, in the shadows, was something else. Something that shouldn't have been there. That night, Lana locked all her doors. She checked her windows twice. She told herself it was just a hack, some twisted internet troll messing with her. Until she woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of laughter. A child's laughter. It was faint, distant, yet inside the house. She froze, her ears straining. The laughter echoed, light and playful, but wrong. It didn't sound like it belonged to any child she knew. Then came the soft creak of her bedroom door opening. Lana's heart pounded. She grabbed her phone, fumbling to turn on the flashlight. She swept the light across the room, empty. But then she saw her desk. And her breath caught in her throat. The stuffed rabbit. Her daughter's favorite toy, the one that had been packed away for years. It was sitting right in the middle of her desk. She hadn't put it there. And on the wall above it, something had been scratched into the wood. "Mommy, I found you." Lana stumbled back, knocking over her chair. Her phone buzzed in her hand, a new notification. Her TikTok account had just started a live stream, but she wasn't recording. Her hands shook as she opened the app. The screen flickered to life. The camera showed her bedroom, right there in real time, the empty bed, the open door, the stuffed rabbit. And then, the screen glitched. For a split second, something flashed on the feed. A small figure, a child, standing right behind her. The live stream cut off. And in the reflection of her darkened phone screen, she wasn't alone. Lana's hands trembled as she stared at her phone screen. The live stream had cut out, but she had seen it. A small figure standing right behind her. Her breath came in short gasps. This wasn't possible. It wasn't real. Couldn't be real. Her instincts kicked in. She needed to prove it. Prove that her mind was playing tricks on her. Prove that this was just some elaborate hack. A glitch. She opened TikTok Live. Her screen flickered as the feed went live. Viewers flooded in instantly, hundreds, then thousands. "I don't know what's happening," her voice wavered, "but someone hacked my account. Someone is messing with me." The comments scrolled rapidly. Her stomach twisted. She swallowed hard and forced herself to look over her shoulder. Nothing. Just her dimly lit room, the stuffed rabbit still sitting on the desk. "See," she exhaled, "there's nothing here. I'm not crazy." And then, a sound. A soft, static-filled crackle from her phone speaker. Lana's brows furrowed. The sound wasn't coming from her live feed. Her phone screen glitched. A new audio file began playing. A voice, small, fragile, trembling. "Mommy, don't put me in the trunk." Lana's body went rigid. "Mommy, it's dark in here. I'm scared." Her vision blurred. Her breathing sharpened into panicked gasps. She knew that voice. It was her daughter. But that was impossible. She snatched her phone, frantically trying to shut the audio off. It wouldn't stop, kept playing. "Mommy, I can't breathe." Her pulse pounded in her ears. No. This wasn't real. It wasn't real. And then the whisper, right behind her. You remember now, don't you? A scream clawed its way up her throat as she spun around, but there was nothing there. The live stream comments exploded. Who SAI? She grabbed her phone, shaking, scrolling furiously through the user list. And then she saw it. A new viewer. No profile picture. No username. Just 2 words. I am still here. Her skin went ice cold. That wasn't possible. Her phone vibrated violently in her hands. A notification. Someone else was live streaming from her account. But it wasn't her. She tapped the notification with numb fingers, and the screen loaded a new live stream. The angle was different. The camera was positioned somewhere else. Somewhere inside her own house. Her bedroom. The screen showed her desk, the stuffed rabbit, the open door, everything exactly as it was. But there was one difference. A shadowy figure stood in the doorway. A child, small, still, watching. And then the live stream chat exploded. Lana, run. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She lifted her gaze from the phone screen and froze. The reflection in her darkened window. A tiny figure standing directly behind her. A child, head tilted, staring. Lana's breath hitched. She tried to move, to scream, but the lights flickered. And the last thing she heard before the darkness swallowed her whole was her daughter's voice, whispering in her ear. You can't hide anymore, Mommy. Lana lurched forward, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she bolted for the door. Her fingers fumbled at the handle, twisting, pulling, nothing. Locked. From the outside. Her pulse pounded against her skull. She slammed her fists against the door, her voice raw, desperate. Help! Somebody help me! Silence. The air around her felt wrong, thick, stagnant, too heavy. And then, a soft tap. Not on the door. Not on the walls. Behind her. Lana's breath hitched. Slowly, against every instinct screaming at her to run, she turned her head. The mirror across the room reflected her own figure, but something was wrong. Her reflection wasn't facing the door like she was. It was turned toward her. Her own reflection was staring right at her. And she wasn't alone. Standing right behind her, in the mirror's cold glass, was a small, shadowed figure. A child. The face was wrong. Blurred, distorted, as if the features had been smeared across the reflection. But the eyes were staring directly at her. White, empty, black as a void. Her stomach churned as a small hand lifted in the reflection. Lana's body went rigid. The child's fingers, small, frail, trembling, pressed against the mirror's surface. And then, in a voice that was too close, too real, Mommy, I found you. Her phone buzzed violently in her pocket. She snatched it up with shaking hands. A new message. No sender, no number. Just the same words, burned into the screen like a brand. Mommy, I found you. Her stomach lurched, and then the light cut out. Everything plunged into darkness. The air turned ice cold. And then, just as she sucked in a breath to scream, a pair of small, freezing hands wrapped around her throat. The last thing she heard was the whisper against her ear. "Why did you leave me in the dark?" The scream never came. The screen faded to black. And then, silence. Lana Mitchell was gone. Her apartment, once silent, was now a crime scene. The police found no signs of forced entry, no struggle, no explanation. Just an empty room, a phone lying on the floor, and the fingerprints of a child who had been dead for over a decade. The official statement was vague. An ongoing investigation. No further details, no leads. But then, a report surfaced. A neighbor claimed to have seen something, a small figure standing at Lana's window, just hours before she vanished. A child, motionless, staring out into the night. But when asked for more details, the neighbor refused to speak again. Online, theories exploded. Was Lana taken? Had she finally confessed to something only she knew? Or was this something worse? Her TikTok account remained untouched. No new posts, but her last live stream was still there. Millions had seen it. And then 2 days later, her followers noticed something strange. A new video appeared. No title, no caption, just a few seconds of footage. It was a recording of a room. An empty chair, a phone screen still blinking with unread messages. The stuffed rabbit sitting exactly where it had been before. And then, just as the video was about to end, a whisper, "Mommy, I found you." The screen cut off. The account has been inactive ever since, but the comments haven't stopped. Some people believe she's still alive. Some say she's finally where she belongs. But the real question is, was Lana Mitchell truly innocent, or was this justice from beyond the grave? Do you believe that the forgotten always return? Tell us what you think. And if you're ready for another story, you won't want to miss what comes next.